Good afternoon. Welcome to the ninth episode, ninth, tenth, something slash episode. There was things that happened. But this is going to be the ninth official episode as far as the marquee goes. And today's guest is Jason Bascom. You may know him from Topic List. You've probably seen him with my other guest, a death metal hero. You also might know him from the comic book scene where he has his own book, Absolute, and his current book, Absolute 2, in demand. My guest, Jason, how are you, sir?
All right. How about you, man? I'm doing
I'm
well.
doing,
Doing well. Yeah.
doing pretty good.
Good. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. It's always good. It's actually a nice day today. I live in Ohio, and it's technically fall, but still getting 70-degree weather, so we're loving it up here, man.
So I don't know if you want to dox stuff, but I'm from Ohio originally. I was born in Dayton, and then I went to high school in Greenville.
Yeah, I live like about 40 minutes outside of Cleveland, so I live like right on the lake. So yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I have a friend that's a rapper that lives in Cleveland.
Oh yeah. That's
Uh-huh.
pretty cool, man. Yeah, years ago, like 20 years ago, because I went to college in Florida when I was 23. So, but like before, when I was in my early 20s, I actually knew this one guy's name is Prophet. He was a big. I think he did stuff with his rapping and hip hop. So I can't remember, but I don't know if it was that guy. So
Yeah, no, that's pretty dope.
yeah,
Um, you were saying something about trading cards like right before you
yeah.
came
I
on.
actually found the one in the campaign, and I have the other one from the last one. So they're all foil. So these ones that I was looking for.
Yeah, so this is what I think is missing from all campaigns that have trading cards. I think what needs to happen is we need to figure out how we get that old school piece of busted up gum. You remember like in the baseball cards, like in the
Yeah, dude. It
like
would get stale, yeah, from being in there. I
God.
I think I know somebody who's trying to do it. I can't say who or what because I don't know if he's going to go ahead with it, but a lot of people know him and like him. So if he pulls it off, it'll be fantastic, man. But yeah, one person actually is going to attempt it. I have to hit him up and find out if he is actually doing it. But
There's just something about that wax paper package that you
mhm.
opened up and then you had that
Yeah,
really
dude.
terrible piece of gum that you crunched on anyways. Like
And it gave you that like once you opened it, that fumes of the gum just hit you right in the face, and your cards kind of smelled like it a little bit for a while.
yeah.
It was great, dude.
It's
Yeah.
so amazing. Like these are things that I miss. I wish that I don't know how you recreate it. I guess you'd have to like a box of gum and then let it sit out for 6 months and then package it with your stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if it like if because of like the cardboard and the foil, like I don't know if that like the absorbed the moisture from the gum. Like I don't know why it was always stale. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
just from time. But yeah, if you aged it, like you said, that'd be pretty cool. Be like, I mean, people would like try to eat it and bust their teeth open, but it still would be that great sense of nostalgia, from when you were a kid. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Oh, like Aerith could do like with his book, he could do like little chiclets and stuff.
It would be good.
That would be great.
Yeah, because the dwarves, so you get little candy, you get little gum. That would be pretty clever, man. Yeah, I know some people like do have like the cards in a foil a thing. You know what I mean? But they don't have the gum. You're right. Yeah, they're missing that. Hail the
Hmm.
chat, by the way. Welcome. Yeah,
Yeah, we got a good chat right now.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many of them. I did a stream earlier just for fun to work on a page of Absolute, and so it was a good time. And I think a few people came over from there.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I was checking it out.
Yeah,
You had
appreciate it.
Matt Barr and you had
Yeah, dude.
that death metal hero. I love Matt Barr. His
Dude,
work
Bar
is
is
like sick. It's so
sick,
sick.
man. I don't. Rock and Roll Ninjas should be huge, and Matt's amazing, dude. Watching him work. He's fast. He's one of them Plago guys where he just goes, and next thing you know, he'll finish a piece, and you'll also be working on mine, and so he'll just start another piece, finish that. The dude is quick, but insanely good on top of it. So, yeah, dude, I love Bar. I'm a fan. Yeah.
Dude, okay, so with Plagle, this is something that drives me insane. He's like, I hate this page. And he just like throws it
That
away, and everybody's like, this
Well,
is amazing. So, okay, if you're not gonna put it in the book, I get it. But I'm saying, like, I want to keep spreading the word. He needs to do like a special ash can called the trash can, like the shit that he's gonna throw away. Like, he needs the deleted scenes
I think it's a
of
great idea.
like,
Go ahead. Yeah.
on the editing floor, because I think that would be, I think it'd be so dope because everybody wants that artwork. I
Yeah.
get it that he's doing better, making a better book, but like, why get, he spent all that time doing it.
Well, as an artist, I do like I draw some things sometimes, and I hate them so much that I rip them up, and people don't like it that I do that. But they're like, you could just sell it or give it to someone. I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, it's a bad piece of. I think it's a bad piece of artwork, so I don't want it to exist in the world. I want my good artwork to exist in the
It's
world. You
like,
know?
torch it, forget it. It didn't exist. We're
Yeah,
gonna forget about
exactly,
this.
man. So like it's great that the fans like it, but like even Frege, he told everybody, he's like, if I drew you something like from the early '90s and I hate it, send it to me. I will redraw you something like because he doesn't want that bad crap out in the world. So
I
like
would
I can
trade
relate.
you. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I'll give you we'll get a brand new one
brand
going
new
for.
one. Yeah. So I mean, I get it,
Oh,
but I like your idea. I do because to us, like even me as an artist, I see Plago's quote unquote bad pieces. I'm like, dude, these are phenomenal. So I think that like the trash can, dude, that would be great. That's a good idea. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that way he acknowledged it, in his way. Like, I don't like this work, but people liked it. It's kind of like a cool, like, art brute punk rock thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like a little underground thing. And I like that idea. It's very clever. And it wouldn't be hard to, do the ash can itself. You could even make them yourself and, and it wouldn't be too hard. I actually have, I did make some ash cans of, I have just art that I do, fine
Yeah.
art, not just comics and stuff. But I had a sketchbooks that I would draw during lunchtime at work for 30 minutes. I would just doodle real quick. They would one piece would take a few days because it's just 30 minutes. But I ended up turning those into ash cans called Inks and Eats, and I only did a few of them, but they were pretty fun. So it's not, and I did those myself. So it's not hard to actually just you get the stapler, you print them out, you fold them right, and you just and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it costs money with the ink, the printer ink, but that's about it. So they're fun to do, and I might do more of those inks and eats. Redo them again. I don't know. I like the fact that they're very limited. I think Frege has one of them. So yeah,
Garbage Pail Kids. I like Garbage
yeah.
Pail Kids. I think it'd be dope if they like did it all like CG version of Garbage Pail Kids, but you'd have to get everybody to sign on to let you like use their
I would.
characters.
Yeah, I would sign that. I know PTP. He did the Garbage Pail Kid things, but and on all four, if you they merged into like a cirrhosis Cecil.
Oh, that's dope. I missed
Yes,
that one.
yeah, that was during I believe the second Johnny Phantasm campaign. So yeah, it was pretty clever.
There's some stuff that I'm like late to the game that I'm catching up on, but there's also like certain sacrifices that I'm willing to make because I like to back more of the middle ground creators. I find that there's like more going on there, and I also find that like especially if it's a new project, there's certain people that are willing, I know they're taking a hit to make that campaign, but they're doing it to like build a basis and build a fan, and I appreciate like that and like getting something launched. Like
Yeah,
Neff's campaign is amazing, dude.
yeah, Mavericks is awesome. I have a piece in there, and I didn't know it, but the Great Ink Spots is coloring it too. So he's
I know
working
that's
on it right
pretty
now.
dope. I heard
Yeah,
that on your thing. I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. I
yeah.
like Expanse a lot. I also like Scotsman. He's a really great
Scotsman's
inker.
great. Yeah, yeah. But I didn't know he had ink spots doing it because we got the Frog G that we're going to work on. So I don't know if he did that on purpose because I mean I don't know if people are realizing ink and ink spots and my style really go well together and we make a great team. So I think maybe he saw that and he's like, yeah, they make a great team. So like if I have other future colored books, I definitely just ink. I'd go ink spots all day, every day. Because after Absolute Two, I have the Frog G book, which we're working on. So then, but after that, I'm going to go back into Samurai Priest, Absolute Samurai Priest. So So once I do more colored work, though, I definitely, dude, if it's my project, I'm having ink on it. It's a color. The dude's a phenomenal
Yeah, I
colorist.
want to see more of that synergy. I like that there's a bunch of middle ground creators that are building up and they're jumping off at different points.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope that especially people like Irene came on the spot and like fucking boom did a good project. I think Joe Capitano did a pretty good
Yep.
project.
I backed them all. Yeah.
I like your projects a lot.
Thanks, man.
Um, I'm really stoked for Dan Plagle stuff.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I want him to make a tattoo flash sheet as like one of the things.
I mean, he could knock them out. The only problem with flash art is it really doesn't sell when you go around to tattoo shops because they generally like already have established stuff or they go online, so it's hard to sell flash. I tried to do it years ago,
Hmm.
but it would be awesome for him to do like maybe like three or four, like because he
Yeah,
could bang them out. Like flash pieces, and that would be pretty dope, man.
yeah. Like if he did like I don't know, you could do a print and have a couple of them on there. Like you could do like a print that is, like a couple of designs, like a flash sheet. That
Mhm.
would be. I would back that. I'd put the extra cash down for that because
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, even you could even have it as a stretch goal. Like I said, he doesn't have to do like 15 pieces. He can
Yeah.
do like four, or five. So if he had it as a stretch goal, that would be pretty cool. Yeah,
What
I
do you
keep
think?
drinking.
Do you think that you would ever do a tattoo, like maybe a print that is in the tattoo style for your absolute books?
Uh, you know what? It would fit because one of my characters, Ratam, he does have he's tattooed all up. I mean, he has his clothes on, and stuff like that. So you really can't see all of them all the time, but he has a lot of tattoos. So it would actually work with the campaign, and that's kind of stuff that you want to do actually whenever you're doing it. You want to have like merch or side stuff that flows in with the campaign itself. Like a mouse pad doesn't fit with Absolute. It just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. But like there's a place in the book called The Bar, Barr. When I used to play D&D, we went to my DM made up this place called The Bar. So but everybody gets the bar coaster, because it fits in with the campaign. So
Yeah.
a flat like maybe a couple images for flash tattoo art wouldn't be a bad idea. It fits because there's tattoos in the book.
One Pure Spirit Coaster. Are you familiar with Bloodhound Gang?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that album, One Pure Spirit Coaster, the CD where it was supposed to be like that was like the whole thing. Like each CD had some kind of trick to it, and like so that first CD was One Pure Spirit Coaster, so it was supposed to be like a beer coaster. One was like Hooray for the Boobies, and it was like a boob, and like
Yeah, that's the one I remember. Yeah. But yeah,
I miss
yeah,
little things like that. I like tie-in stuff.
yeah, and that's what you want. You want stuff that fits in with the campaign, so you're not off. I could do like a because he's got a tattoo of like a I'm on this side. It's like there's a tentacle that goes around his head this way, and he has an eyeball like tattoo on the other side of his head. And I think he's got a pyramid thing with an eye in the middle, like the third eye on his hand, and then another octopus tentacle that goes on his other hand. So like he's tatted up, but you don't really get to see it because the way I look at stuff, man, is uh, uh, everybody, you wear clothes, I wear clothes, so we change clothes, so you don't always get to see everything. So there's no point in having him shirtless or something because I'm not shirtless all the time, just after I take a shower. But you know, so yeah,
I
I
mean, that
try to
could be a
ground it.
new stream. That could be a whole new thing. Maybe you could go the ethot route and do shirtless streams while drawing.
Well, Wolverine has kind of you know the stamp on that one.
The ownership.
So yeah,
Well, I mean, maybe you could be part of a crew like Chippendales,
yeah, there you go. Nobody
but
wants to see me shirtless, that's for sure. But
but like comics. We could get a lot of people in on this.
CG Chippendales.
CG Chippendales. Come
Yeah.
on, Dan Plagle could be in there with you guys. Death Metal Hero.
Matt Barr. Yeah.
Matt Barr, but
I
like
hear
Matt,
he's a handsome man. That's
but
what I hear.
he doesn't get on like can't put like a mask on. I think and
Yeah.
like was on.
but I hear he's a very handsome man. He
I
has
mean,
shown his
is
face a
he
couple
willing to
times.
do like an ab cam or something? I guess, like if he's not willing to show his
Well, he
face.
could just point the camera right at his torso.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
the torso cam.
torso cam. Yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, so like I kind of grounded. I know it's a comic fantasy, but you got to have some kind of sense of groundness to it. So people wear clothes and stuff like that, and they get hurt and cuts and bruises, and like his sleeves aren't on because they got ripped off somehow. So it's
What
some muscles in there.
can you for people who are not familiar with your project, can you give us a introduction, like what the idea behind the story is? And
Yeah, yeah, it's a lone bounty hunter who gets thrust into a war he didn't ask for, and it's our main character is he's nameless in the book. He just go. People have called him the old man. So that's. I mean, if you signed up for the emailing list on the first campaign, you actually have a trading card with his name on it. But so
oh
yeah, so if you missed out, I'm sorry. I did sell one in an auction, but I'm burning them right after that.
oh
Yeah, so
no, you got to
yeah,
do a stream when you do that. That'd be dope.
yeah, definitely. So it's about him, and he's kind of like the Wolverine Han Solo. I know he's got Chewbacca, but he's kind of like the lone gunman type character, bounty hunter. He just goes after contracts, gets his money. He wants to live his life in solitude, and but he's going to go after this ultimate prize so he can kind of give up, stop this life because he's getting older, and in his travels, he ends up meeting this young woman who steals something from an alien tower. The aliens are called the Anbi, and they invaded the world decades ago. And between alien experimentation and fallout and just breeding, people have developed superpowers or mutations and freakish forms. And
Mm.
like so, he has superpowers as well. But so he meets this young lady after she escapes this tower from stealing something, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going after this ultimate prize. I know it's going to be difficult to get. I need cannon fodder. I need somebody to help me. And he saw her escape from this tower, and you kind of got to be pretty gnarly to do that, to get out of these alien towers that are invade him. So he knows she's got something. She's got something, so he takes her on, and she takes him on because she knows she's going to be wanted by these aliens, and she wants somebody to protect her, or at least somebody to as a shield. So it's pretty much about them too, uh, and them trusting each other, their development, what whether or not that they can actually succeed. And she's after like trying to overthrow the aliens. He wants this prize, and she kind of steers his path into like accidentally being a hero, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, and along his way he encounters the samurai priest and Ratam, and you get to learn a little bit more about the relationship between Ratam and the old man in the next issue. And samurai priest is kind of like Ratam is a seeker. He can see things, scry things. He also can shoot bolts of magic and stuff like that. And the samurai priest is his like kind of like army in a way. Like he's a one man army.
Man, I
So
fucking
yeah,
lucked out. I'm glad you did, like, because like I'm not exactly sure how people should run it now, but because there's two different theories. There, I like the catch up, and I'm glad I was able to get the catch up campaign and get the good first copy because man, oh man, that's
yeah. See that's the thing. Like I have the overstocks of the first prints, so and I can obviously sell those, and I have plenty. So
yeah.
that's why I have the catch up tier, and everybody gets a first printing. Now after this, once again, I'm destroying them. So
Oh,
it,
so you're not even gonna do a catch up campaign. You're not gonna do like just a
no,
single like open
it,
campaign to
after
sell what's.
right after this, like let's say when I do like absolute samurai priest, I might have like all of them in one like a thick graphic novel of absolute, so you can get it,
Oh, dope.
but it's not going to be the first printings, and it's all going to be just in one.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'll probably do something like that.
So
That way,
back it twice if you want it, because after this,
yep,
it's all gone and
it's
it's gonna
gone.
get
I
incinerated.
will say the only thing that I will have is the variant cover from the first issue. But the only way to get that is if you meet me at a convention or if I sell it at an auction. I have those for that reason. The variant cover for this campaign is print to order, so
Oh,
it's very limited. So once. whoever gets it, and I'm not doing overprints. I'm not selling them ever again. So you'll be able to get book one of the variant, but after that, you better get on this campaign. You know, so yeah,
Oh man, you're not messing around.
no,
You're
I
not messing around.
and
Get
I
on the
like.
train and get on the train early because family, you're gonna be real upset when you're on eBay paying like $300 for a book.
That'd be nice if it got to be that much, man. And I will say this: I forgot. I also have the very few amount of sketch covers from the first book. So those the only way to get those is once again at a convention. So yeah, so you can get the first issue still, but it won't be the original cover, which is available only on this campaign.
Man, there you
Yeah.
go. There you go. Okay, so can I ask you like what inspired like the book? Like where did you get the idea and like when did you start working on the whole thing?
Well, it actually just came about by happenstance. I drew the first page, and my brother's a writer, so I drew the first page because I wanted something for us to work on together. He had his own idea of a book, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that because that's your thing. I want something that we both kind of create and do and come to fruition with. And so I drew this page. I just drew it. I came up with a character and I drew it on the spot and digitally. And I was like, I showed it to him and I'm like, let's do something. And he was trying and trying his hardest. And it was just a genre he wasn't familiar with. He wasn't too comfortable doing. So after a while, I was like, you know what? I really love this page. I love this character. And so I was like, I got to do more with it. And I always had these alien guys. Like I have a tattoo of one of them right here. I've had them for like 20 years, over 20 years. I created them a long time ago. And I'm like, they would be kind of cool to put in, but they do look a little evil, even though the way I think of them, they aren't, or at least this one isn't. But I'm like, so I could really make them as a good villain. And
Okay.
like how, so I kind of just came up with everything on the fly. And like I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there at first. So I was creating the whole thing during the first issue as I was going, and the story just ended up developing. And then I would figure out how I want it to totally end, and I needed to get there somehow. That's the main problem. But I started working on it. Oh man, what year is this? 2021.
20, yeah, we're in 2021, almost
Maybe
at the end.
maybe 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. I think I started working on it. I
Okay.
can't remember. But I have a full time jobs. You get family stuff, so it's not like I was doing a page a day. So it was slowly creeping in. And the way I was going to initially do it was go through like Image or Dark Horse or something like that. So it might have even been 2016 that I started working on it. But I knew you needed 3 issues though, 3 to 4 issues.
So you're just getting it all worked out in your
Yep.
spare time.
Yeah, I was getting it all worked out in my spare time late at night because I'm a night owl. I would work on it and stuff like that. And I was and you need like 3 or 4 issues to pitch it to like a company, a publishing company. And I got to the third issue, I finished it, and then the whole beer virus thing happened. So I obviously was like, okay, well, they're not really doing anything anymore. And I started listening to Frege, and he was like, initially he was just like drawing during Inktober was what it was. I don't think he started calling it Fragtober for a while. I think like a couple weeks in, he was like, he's going to call it Fragtober. But anyway, and I started listening to him. He's talking about Comicsgate and IndieGoGo, and the guy at my local comic shop actually did suggest, do Kickstarter or Indiegogo. He's like, Indiegogo is really good because you can filter it through comics. I'm like, all right, I was thinking about it. But then once I heard Frege talking more about everything, it made sense. It all just clicked.
Frege is amazing, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
his detail is just like massive.
Dude,
He's just
I was a huge fan of Frege when, Bloodstrike, Black Flag, Deathmate, even though he hated that. Dude, day one, big Dan Frege fan. And then I actually, Instagram, I knew he dropped out of comics for a while. I was following him on Instagram. I saw The Grave develop as it went. It was a beautiful book, or Instagram thing that he did at
okay.
first. Yeah, it was on Instagram. And even sorry about the sirens. They're
Not a
not coming
problem.
for me, I think.
I hope not.
But yeah, he would go live on Instagram all the time, and I would actually, chat in there a little bit, ask him questions, and he would answer them. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I'm actually communicating with a comic book artist that I admire. And I've actually met a couple of good people, D. Oots, Chauncey Blakely from the chats are great artists. And I met a lot of good people through that. And then once I saw he had a YouTube thing, I started watching that. And then he's like dropping links in chat and you could jump in. And I'm like, I'm talking to one of my favorite comic book artists.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
it's
seen you
surreal.
on there several times.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
he's a cool dude.
So is that where you draw your main inspiration for like sequential art, or when did you start like learning how to do sequential art? Was it on that first project?
No, I actually did do a few things before that. I mean, I started collecting comics when I was 10. So when you're reading comics for long enough, if you're an artist or a writer, I think you kind of get a general grasp of how sequential art works without delving too far into it or doing the science behind it, because there is one.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Will Eisner's, I think he has something on like sequential art. And it's a good book, but yeah. So just looking through comics and stuff, that's pretty much how that developed. But uh, see, it's just yeah, you just learn it through time. But no, I mean that was just something that developed throughout the years. But Frege got me kind of like he does like not like he purposely dragged me in, but he got me into the scene. He actually has a trading card on the campaign, and you can get it as a add-on. It comes in a bulk with the other
Okay.
trading cards and the patch. But there were two versions of that the Frege trading card of the Samurai Priest. There was a black and white one I did special for that first campaign, which you can't get anymore. And then there's the colored one that I
Oh.
colored. So yeah,
Oh,
but
there's just a lot. This is very punk rock. This is gonna be like, as the projects blow up and people like start to learn the back lore of the whole situation, they're gonna be very upset. It's gonna be like one of those situations where like, oh, I really love this band, but they started out in Minnesota and they did like three records that only had 250 copies released, and they were like in local store, and you might be lucky that like 10 of them survived the elements and weather and whatnot, like in life.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you said, with us middle ground creators, I like to call us the underground creators because I mean, people know us, but we're kind of still in that. Like you said, it's a middle tier. It's kind of like an underground scene, but we have those limited things because we can only print so many. We only have so many backers. So some of those things are very hard to get now. Once they have like their third book and it's hitting like 500 backers compared to like 150 from their first one. Like look at Shelby's a great example. He had his first campaign, really didn't like have that many backers. Now he blew up. So to go back and get his first original things, very
Yeah.
difficult. So yeah, and it makes it kind of fun. When you're right, like a punk rock type thing, where it's like, man, I missed out. I really got to catch up. But I think it's also good catching people later on whenever they further developed, especially non-pros. Like Shelby's a pro, but if you get like people get their skills develop more. Look at Metal Movies and Brewskis. Matt,
Yeah.
he improves every single time. Look at Luke Gallietta, Death Metal Hero.
Yeah.
Every day, every drawing he does, he's improving.
You know
So
who's amazing, little stunner, is that Noah kid. I'll give him a lot of credit. I
yeah,
think he's
dude.
doing like exceptionally better as he
Yep.
goes along.
There you go. That's another great example. You got to catch even their original art. Get their early stuff. You'll be happy you did. You know, and I think that's cool. I like the middle ground. I like the underground.
What were like your favorite like top three comic books when you were growing up?
Oh wow, top three comics individual themselves. Sin
Just,
City.
I mean, yeah, just like a title or a general
Yeah,
like.
Sin City definitely.
Okay.
Uh, I want to say Dark Knight Returns, but I didn't read that till real late. I first started off with Thor, so I mean, I got to go with that. Especially the early Thors. The Walter Simonson run was just beautiful, but I started off with Run Friends, very Kirby like, and so I'd say Thor, Sin City, and the Max. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, without a doubt, it's a Sam Keith just blows me away everything I see of his. It's
So
phenomenal.
is it art or is it like with Thor? Like what caught you with Thor? Like what?
Well, with Thor, it was just that was my first book.
Okay.
We all went into a grocery store. They were giving away comics for every like $50 you spent or something stupid like that. And
Oh yeah.
then my one brother got X-Men, my other brother got Spider-Man, and I got Thor. So Thor 412 was my first comic book, and we were just we the bug bit us, and I was like, I got to learn more about this, and so yeah, I got the other issues, after that, but I also then went backwards, and I'm like, oh wow, look at this beautiful artwork, look at the dynamicness of like Kirby Simonson, and that's how I was introduced to Kirby at a younger age. A lot of people don't appreciate like what Jack Kirby did until you're later on in life, and you're like, wow, look at how dynamic he was, look at just groundbreaking tech, the way he just did panel work. Usually you don't see that later, but Ron Frenz was like kind of Kirby-ish, and so I was kind of introduced to Kirby later on, early on, and it had a big influence on me actually. Like the way I draw Knuckles, they're kind of like
Yeah.
square sometimes and stuff. That's very Kirby, and it's a style that's always stayed with me. So yeah, but that's why Thor was how I was introduced to it, just through luck, to the first comic book, just through luck.
Is what's your least favorite character? Like
It's a
what's
good
one that
question.
just like drives you nuts? Because it's something that people don't talk about.
I can't say Captain Marvel. I know that's only just a recent thing.
Yeah.
Uh, wow, that is a really good question, man. I got to think on that one. I like Batman. I like Superman. Superman.
Superman.
It's Superman. I had to think for a while. I do not like Superman. Uh, I don't like the idea of that all powerful entity that could destroy everything.
I
And
mean, but a rock does fuck him up. I mean, if it's
that's the
red, it
other
messes
thing.
up his
It's like
emotion.
a rock does mess him up, and everyone has it. It's like how?
How did everybody get this rare piece
Yeah,
of
it's like
rock?
this is the most rare thing ever, but everybody has it. I'm like, this is no. So yeah,
Well, no,
Superman.
see, that's you know what that's what Lex Luthor's actual secret is. It's like the diamond trade. It's not actually that out of the source. There's actually millions of them, and he has like the secret lot, and he controls the how much goes into the market for the bad guys to purchase to mess with Superman.
That you know what? At least say that in the comics. It would be good. I would feel better. I would be like, okay, that's pretty smart.
It's a it's a
Yeah,
kryptonite diamond scheme.
yeah, that would be okay. I'd be like, all right, that makes a little more sense at least. So
I
yeah, but
mean, look, you make a good point because think about this. They did sell rocks to children. They did sell kryptonite. You remember that? They had the little glow in the dark. It was a rock, a piece of gravel
mhm.
that they dipped in paint that was glow in the dark.
Yeah, but I like just the concept, and I know they've done reiterations and different versions, and he reduced his powers, increased his power. I don't care, man. It's like he can move the planet into a different orbit if he wanted to. It's like, come on, man. Like
Oh,
I
and
get it, but
they killed
whatever.
him. They killed him too. Like that's the other
Yeah,
thing. They killed him, and then they brought him back.
and that's obvious too. Like if you can't kill your lead character at all, like you're like Superman and Batman, they'll never die even if they die. Spider-Man never die even if he dies. Captain America, all of them, it doesn't matter. They're gonna bring him back. Look at Wolverine. He stayed dead for a little bit, and then they brought in Old Man Logan, and then they just brought in Wolverine again. It's like whatever.
So okay, I always think about this. Like if I was a producer, right, for Marvel, or if I was a producer for Star Wars or something, what I would dig into is I would just have them bring me all the numbers and reports for all the canon that existed prior, right? So with Star Wars, there's tons of novels. So
Yeah,
there's story arcs that just exist, and you're like, this is real simple. You find the biggest selling story arc, and you take that and turn it into a movie.
dude.
And
What? If we want to go into Star Wars, to me, uh, Dark Empire, the one where Luke becomes the Great Jedi, that should have been the other three movies, like
yeah,
without a doubt. Like they had it right there in their hands. Like you could have made an amazing completion to this story arc, and they just went nope. So yeah, you're right. Like you build on that canon, and you learn from it, and you integrate it. So you don't just toss it away. and create something whole new to try to cater to people that don't really even like the thing in the first place, and you get rid of all the other fans, and there goes your money. It's gone, you know.
Yeah.
So
But it's
yeah,
an easy rescue because literally all you have to do is go, you know what? Made a mistake. We're gonna erase.
yeah,
We're gonna. I mean, they do it all the time.
yeah, they
They've
do.
restarted Batman 100 times. They restarted Superman. Like this is really easy. You just go. Don't worry
Well,
about that other shit when we'll do
dude,
this new stuff. Like,
yeah. Look at Mandalorian when Luke came in. Like perfect. It was perfect. I don't know if you saw it.
mm.
Did you see it?
I saw all the reactions online to it.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's not a spoiler, but dude, go on YouTube and watch that clip because that's the only part you need to see during that episode. The rest of it doesn't matter. But it's what they did was awesome. They made Luke Skywalker again. Like
Yeah.
he was kicking and taking names. It was great, dude. It was like even I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I watched it, and then my brother, I wanted to see his reaction because he's a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I'm a middle ground Star Wars fan. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, but he's huge into it, and so I wanted to see his reaction. Dude, he was so ecstatic, like just the way everything went about. Yeah, I highly recommend going to finding. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. Just find it on YouTube and watch it.
So, quick story. I had a okay. I went to. Are you familiar with the Disney College program?
No.
Okay, so I was at a community college. I was walking around, grabbed the newspaper, saw this thing. So apparently Disney does like a college internship, right? And that they advertise it like you're doing an internship for a Fortune 500 company. Well, I was going for a business degree, and I was like, this sounds like a smart maneuver or whatever. You know what it is? It's actually slave labor. This is what they do. They trick a bunch of college students to go down there, and including like foreign students, and they give you like below minimum wage pay because you're an intern,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put you in housing in one of like three apartment complexes
Oh, jeez.
that they own.
Oh, wow.
Right, and then they take it out of your paycheck. I paid $69 a week, and this is the thing: it's two people to a room. So like your rent depends on how many people are in your apartment. So there's one bedroom apartments, so there's two people. I was in a three-bedroom apartment, and I had six room or five other roommates.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
That's not. Those are not adequate living
but
conditions.
but but one was a Mormon. I say all that to say this. One was this Mormon guy, and he had the most like insane collection. Like he brought like a library worth of Star Wars novels with him that he would
Really?
reread. Yeah, but I mean, like it was literally an entire bookshelf. And this guy was super tall. He was like one of those baby Huey son bitches, and like like this tall was like super, and he like it was complete. I was like, did you bring a moving truck worth of books? Like, I mean, we're only here for 6 months. Like, how? But I mean, it was like very important to him, and he went through them. And I was like, there it is. Like, this is easy. I was like, and that's what I would ask people. In comic book wise, like, what like two or three story arcs would you want to see like turned into a movie?
Dark Empire is definitely one of them. Definitely. Sin City was already done. A lot of them have kind of been done. Some of them have been done wrong.
Yeah,
Uh, See, the problem with making them into movies is like you can only go so far. Uh, the Phoenix, the actual Dark Phoenix, would like if they did that right, that would be cool. I know
yeah.
they tried to do it. No, you got to do that right. That would be awesome. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, but yeah, there's so many story arcs too, though. So many like they do it all the time.
Well,
Secret Wars hasn't happened yet.
Swamp Thing would
Yeah,
be
Swamp Thing.
amazing. I think
Well,
if they did that right.
they did it on what HBO? Was it HBO Max where they had the Swamp Thing one season and that was it? They even though everybody
Yeah,
loved
and you
it,
know what? I actually liked it. I didn't think it was too terrible. And
that's what everybody
I
said.
thought
Yeah.
I thought the movies were good too. I mean, they weren't like necessary to the books, but like now you can do it right. We could do a proper Swamp Thing. I would like to see that, and then like I would like to see a Lucifer series. I'd like to see a Sandman series. Like I feel like we have the ability
Sandman.
to
Yeah.
make those.
Well, the problem is you need to get the people on there that actually love the book, the content. like they love it, they cherish it, and it's something that they grew up with. Not just throw in people who wrote like one episode of Friends, you
Yeah.
know, so because they fit a check mark. So you have to get the people that actually know it and they love it and they want to make it right. You know, the other thing is like that's why Sin City actually was so successful. You can follow along in the panels,
Yeah.
the shots, the dialogue, everything is there. It's like a moving live comic book,
Like
and
a
it was
live action comic book.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it was great. And yeah, I know you want to see new things and stuff like that, but with superheroes you can do that too. But you got to get people that love it, you know, and that are passionate. Like that's like John Favreau. He loves that stuff, man.
Yeah.
He you can tell he's a big nerd, and
Oh
uh,
man, and I think that he's gonna do a Disney coup. Like this is, I think that like they're gonna find like that money talks and bullshit walks, and there's gonna get a certain point like we may see like you feel like there's some like certain social losses like oh they re-signed Kathleen Kennedy. I'm just saying give it
yeah,
time
oh, you're
because
not wrong.
she's developing these ideas, but like Favreau's in the background like creating the heat.
Right. And I think like let's say Favreau does a one project, she does the other project. Once I think they see his stuff coming with more, it's taking more money.
Exponential, yeah,
Yeah, an
exponentially.
exponential growth, and hers just being like, they're gonna really be like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. We're just hemorrhaging money on this garbage. We need to make money. And this guy's passionate about the stuff. Like he's the one who created Baby Yoda. So you know
Yeah.
he was a huge
Oh, that
hit with
was
everybody.
brilliant. That
That was
Baby
brilliant.
Yoda was
Brilliant.
fucking brilliant.
Yeah, everybody loves Baby Yoda. Even I like Baby Yoda. You know, so so yeah, you want somebody like that can create something that actually works with the material. So yeah, you're not wrong. It's a reckoning is coming.
I also just like I like voting for the underdog, and I like the idea of the evil. I love good versus evil stories,
Yeah,
and
well that
so like I would love the idea of the underdog coming up and just like because this person she was handed the keys to the
yep
kingdom because she was supposed to be the caretaker, and she just like poured gasoline on everything and started throwing matches at the place. I
yeah.
was like, Jesus.
Well, and look at CG and the indie scene. That's a great example. They're the underdogs. We're the underdogs, but everybody seems to be coming over here, even if they're not CG. They're just indie, and they want to make their own thing, and they want to make it good because everything else out there just seems to be an agenda of some kind or a box check. So you're getting a lot of people coming over to the crowdfunding scene just to put out something really good, and something's gonna happen. I really think so. I think you're right. A reckoning is coming.
You know what I love about CG is the diversity. Um, because this is what I miss. And people don't understand why this is important, but like because there's an eroding of things because everyone decided that you had to check certain boxes in order for creation to exist. Um, it makes your stuff disappear, right? Like at first, depending on where you fall on there, you might be very minor, but like I think even Calvin and Hobbes is going to get like erased if they continue on like the caustic trail of like censoring and destroying stuff, right? So it's like it might hit you sooner or later, but you really like you want. I want to see a bunch of different stuff that I don't like being just as successful as the stuff as I do like because I want there to be diversity because as long as that stuff exists, it creates room for my stuff to exist.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it allows for that thought bubble to be there.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. In a way, that's a competition. You know, and that's what creates actually good content and quality. The better things usually do end up rising, like the cream rises to the top, and usually that does happen. So even if the bad crap is out there and the good crap, that's you got a competition of some kind, and that's important. But they're trying to erase competition in a way. So and that's no, you can't do that. You got to have people wanting to be the top dog. You know, like
Yeah,
I'm better than you, and not in a bad way. You don't want to like I'm better than you, but you got to be better than me now. You
not at
know,
all cost destructive, but like
right?
in a actual camaraderie,
Yeah,
camaraderie. You know,
camaraderie.
yes,
Yeah,
something in there. There, some version of that word.
yeah. No, and yeah, it's what it is. It's like it's friendly competition, And it's like, look what I just did. I'm improving. You better step up your game too. And then once they do, you're like, I better step up my game now. So it creates quality. And eventually it'll just overtake all this garbage one day, you
It
know?
creates quality. It also creates like technique and almost like shortcuts to a certain extent because over time it develops, it proves, and
Mhm. Ingenuity.
as
Yeah.
you keep a history of things, it allows people to like report back like, hey, don't waste your time doing this, do this. Like
Right.
I'm gonna
And
tell
that's
you
the
right
thing.
now.
That makes it the friendly competition because, yeah, I realized I found a way to improve my stuff. Let me tell you what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's one thing that I really appreciate about Joe Capitano. I don't know if you catch his channel, but he is putting together like a toolbox. Like he's trying to get elements and different things from creators and different people to go, into a file. Like, okay, so this is how you do it. So when someone comes into the scene and they want to make a comic book, like here's how you successfully plan it out. Here's the things that you need to watch out for, the pitfalls, the things that really damaged like certain people's reputations up front is like the amount of time that you're going to take or uh, print like the printing costs, like things you didn't expect, or maybe even shipping. Like
Right.
you didn't expect that you're going to get maybe you got 200 people, in Australia, and now you have to pay some huge tariff.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something good to learn. Like back before that, we had Adam Post. He kind of disappeared. But I first found Mixum because of him and Vinny Tartamelli. So, so yeah, and they were like, "This is a good company," and I know like uh, Art T Bear had kind of had an issue with them, I think. But usually they're pretty good and they work with you. So that was like one thing, like, hey, this is a better company than some of the other companies. Like even that little thing, or like, hey, you want to do a spreadsheet and see how much if you print this many books, is it beneficial to do an overprint of that many and with the cost? And will it be effective? And are you going to have too many left over and you're going to spend some more money than you need to? And that's like if Joe's doing that stuff too, that's great. That's information that new people need to know and veterans. Sometimes they don't realize what they're doing is actually the harder way. And they're like, oh, and Joe's like, well, no, do it this way. This is a lot easier. So yeah, that's something that this bunch of group of people, community, that's what we're really good at is like, this is how you improve this. Do it. Make it better for the customer. And that's what we're about. We're about the clients and the customers because in the end
Well,
of the
it's a
day,
direct
that's
market. It's a handshake. I mean, it's a virtual handshake market.
mhm,
Is
yeah.
you're out here. That's how you have to do. You have to, move and groove, get to know your customers, and it is kind of very personal because you're asking them to help develop this property. It's not just like I'm selling you a product that's here. Like we're making it together. Like
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's it. I'm sorry, dude. No, go ahead.
no, I was just it's just it's very cool that you have this special edition that you got to make together. Like this didn't exist, and now because we all got together as a group of people, like boom, here it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
and it's also awesome that like for one, like to me, it's surreal. Like I like my friends like my artwork and my mom, obviously my family, but you now you got strangers, total strangers who love my stuff, and it's just surreal. But I get to talk with them. It's fantastic, and I get to get feedback from them. I get to be like, oh, you thought this was better than this. I could try doing that a little more now. If the mass majority are like, hey, you should maybe work this into something. You can listen to your audience and you can give them what they want while giving them what you want as well. Like I want to produce my own thing, but I also want to produce something that everybody else is going to be interested in too. So it's a like you're right. Everybody in a way almost creates it. Like you're involved in the process as a fan. So it's awesome, man. This is like a great way to do it. I think you get to
No,
hear what they want.
I think fans help develop campaigns. They tell you, your fans will tell you, we're trading card people, or we're sticker people, or we're patch people, or we're
Yep.
all of the above.
Yeah.
Come with all of this good stuff, or we want multiple covers, or
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the other thing. Like Leroy in the chat, they sometimes toss out some ideas, and like you mentioned multiple covers. Like I didn't even realize that like a lot of people kind of don't care for like 15 different covers. Like a lot of them are like two is good. Any more than 3 and you're pushing it. Some people just like the 1, but the vast majority do like 2 only. So yeah, it's great to listen to feedback like that, to ideas like that. And a lot of people, like, I didn't realize a lot of people don't really watch the video. Like they don't,
Yeah.
when they go to the campaign themselves, like they don't really watch it. They look at the artwork and stuff. But when you're on a stream, that's when the videos come in handy, but they really don't care. A lot of them don't care. They just want to see the artwork and what the book is about. That's it. So they don't really watch the video half the time, but you
Well,
still got to
that's,
make
I
a good
mean, that's
video.
my, I don't know what your natural inclination when you first pick up a comic book is, but when I walk into a comic book shop, I'm first, like, I'm visual. So I'm looking around to see something that catches my eye. When that art catches my eye, then I preview like 3 or 4 pages. I try not to be like a library, stand person,
Right.
just going too bad into it because I don't want to tear up anything that I might not purchase. But I'll go through, and if it seems like it has some decent dialogue and storyline, and the back of the book has a good synopsis, that's how I pick them.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I'm a visual person, but at the same time, you have to look through the book because you don't know if the cover artist is the interior artist. So if you love that cover art, you're like, wow, that's beautiful. You have to look through it because the interior art might just be total garbage. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing too. That talking about like polishing a turd or like just putting a bow on a
Yeah.
pile of shit, dude. That's like, oh, I'm so disappointing when people do that. And it's like you knew, right? Like you put that cover on there. You knew that was the level of art. Like why didn't you hire some kind of artist to equal to it?
Yeah, yeah, at least equal or good in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why they. And I know it's cheaper to get the people that could just work fast and like okay-ish, but I don't. That doesn't really sell as many books as getting somebody who can still put it out on time, but they take a little longer here and there. They get close to that deadline, and maybe they're just pushing the boundaries of that deadline. But get somebody good to work in the
But
interiors of your
okay, but this
cover
is the
different.
thing. There's ways. Like Fiverr like you can Fiverr your way out of some of this, right? Like if you get someone that is a good storyboarder, and you get just like you pay someone just to storyboard it out, so that you have the art in a good sequential order that makes sense. You like in theory could just hire like an artist from South America who's really just sick at doing art, and as long as they like can nail the perspectives you're looking for the page, there you go. Like it's,
Right.
there
Yeah. If
are
you
ways of sourcing it.
Yeah, you can get a good layout artist, like layouts by so and so, and then finishes by somebody like Shelby Robertson. We'll just use him as an example. He does it all. But
Hmm.
yeah, if the book is completely laid out, like you said, like the perspectives of everything, all the positioning, the heads, everything's there. You get a finisher to come in, it would work a lot faster. So you can do things like that. But once again, you kind of want to have the same person through everything, at least as a fan of comics in general. And that's what's great about this scene, though, because we're like, hey, we have a John Malin cover, but you know full well what the interiors are going to be because you're on my campaign page. It's not
Yes.
like it's not a secret.
No, and they get to see
Surprise.
you. They get to see you on stream, and like that, the synergy of people streaming, cross streaming with each other, and being with each other, and getting to see like the different art styles, whether it's like a casual drawing stream or like I really like how Fraga does his, where everyone like has a theme. Like one of my favorite ones is the Punisher bunnies.
That one was
Those
good,
were
man.
amazing. Like there's so
Irene
many.
did a fantastic one on that.
Irene is a
Irene,
monster. She is a
she
beast.
she is a beast, man. I love Irene. I like getting every now and then I jump on her channel. I just jump on there to have a good time, man. Like she will like put the book up. I don't want her to. I want to just go in there and have some fun because she's full of energy. She's a fantastic artist, and she gets fun people on there. Chimera's usually on there too. I like him. So every now and then I'll jump in there on Wednesdays and just have a good time. You know?
Bro, if I didn't, okay, so I'm jealous because she started sending out the black and white copies, but I got like the
I,
tier where I got both.
I got both
And
too.
so I was like, I was really like, if I didn't have all these other projects that I was trying to back, oh goodness, I would have definitely would have. I was thinking about like going back and back in the black copy again just so I could get it because I'm like, because people are opening it up and
Yep.
stuff, and I'm like, now I want it. Now I
No,
want it
you're not
now.
wrong. I'm the same way. I see everybody getting fiendish, and I'm like, oh, come on, like because I backed them both. I got them both. So yeah, but I'm happy I did. I know I have to wait, but I'm gonna get that colored version, and it's gonna be beautiful. So
Yeah, it's
yeah. So Irene's a great person, good personality, and I like being on streams like that, man. I like being on streams that are just they're fun, but they're also talking about like some kind of art or a pop culture influence. Like she'll have a theme with everything, but it can get derailed for quite a bit. But then it can go back into that theme, and you just have a good time. And I love doing that. Don't get me wrong; I still like talking about other things as well, but I'm more into, and I grew up with pop culture and movies and music and comics. So it's just what I really am more interested in over like everything else that kind of gets brought up. Like even like SJWs. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I want
yeah.
to talk, I want to talk about the fun
I want to
stuff.
talk about yeah. I want to talk
Yeah.
about the fact that like when I was a kid, GI Joe made this giant battleship that is the size. Like I go on
We
about this
had
all the
it.
time. That's the size of a coffee table. Like that is
Yeah,
goddamn amazing.
I think that was the USS like flag or something like that. I can't
Yeah,
remember, but we had it, dude. We had
you had it.
we had the aircraft carrier as a
You
kid
could like
when we were
you
kids.
could sleep on top of that thing if
Yeah,
you
dude,
were a
that thing was
6-year-old.
ginormous, man. And well, we would set up the GI Joes and we would shoot them with like those. Remember the guns that had the little discs that you could
Oh yeah.
shoot?
Okay.
Yeah, we would shoot the GI Joes with those little guns as we set them up and stuff. Dude, that carrier, that aircraft carrier was a beast. And sadly, it got broken apart and we moved so many times so we lost it.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, yeah, as a kid, we had the all metal Voltron, the original OG Voltron.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, we
that's
had
dope.
yeah, man. And we even saved up as kids because it was expensive, and my parents were like, "No, it's just too much." So we saved up our own money, and we all chipped in, and we bought the OG Voltron, man. And as a kid, you don't look at the instructions on how to assemble anything. You just automatically do it because you watch the cartoon so many times. You know that this goes into this way, and you just stick them in. Yeah, dude, that thing was awesome.
That I love that kind of stuff. You know what I wish I still had is like my Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice stuff to get to my son. That and I had He-Man. I
He
had
Man.
I
Yeah.
had all the He-Man. I had Battle Cat. I did
Yep.
not have. I had Skeletor, but I didn't have the purple one, and I didn't have. But I did have the. Did you have the creature carrier? So like the
No.
He-Man, like so it was like a skeleton like lizard thing, and like you just popped your He-Man into it, and you could carry them.
Oh, that's cool. No, we didn't have that.
Oh
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I had that. I wish I had that. I didn't have all like the play sets. I had the Gray Skull Castle, um, but I had a bunch of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles play sets. And
Yeah,
I
we
had
we we had a
oh
bunch of
those were
those.
so dope. Those were
Yeah,
cool. The
I
pizza
think
shooter.
pizza shooter. Yeah, the van didn't it shoot like
Yeah.
it shot discs out of it. Yeah, we didn't have the van. I don't think. I think we just
My
had the
cousins
turtles.
had the blimp, and I was always jealous because I
Oh,
wanted the
that's so
blimp.
cool. Yeah, I think we still have some of the original Transformers in a bag somewhere, but obviously they're all beat up. But I think we still have Bumblebee. Because it was my brother's favorite. I think I don't know. My mom still has them like stored away somewhere. But
A lot of
yeah,
my Transformers like would probably break. If I still had them because I remember those were more like the thinner plastic stuff. And
yeah.
what would probably last is I'd probably still have some Go Bots because the Go Bots
We
were
always made
like
fun of the
decently
GoBots as a
like
kid.
yeah, but they were more metal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they were a little
we had
sturdier.
we had Megatron, and one night my dad was like going to go use the restroom, and he stepped on him and broke him, and he got mad and he like threw it. So like
Oh
we used,
no!
yeah, dude, we were like, no. So we never got Megatron back again. So yeah, the OG Megatron, but yeah. We had a lot of those things, man. And that's the thing. Growing up as a kid, you didn't know they're going to be worth money. You didn't know. You didn't
No, oh, you
care.
had the Ninja
No
Turtles.
clue.
If I had, and I was actually that kid that like was very like OCD about keeping all the little parts for the Ninja Turtles. Now I didn't keep them in the plastic things. I did pop them out, but like I had little plastic baggies for all my Ninja Turtle like extra little like throwing
It's,
stars and stuff because I
yeah,
didn't
it's a good
want to lose them.
idea. Yeah, that's clever. We didn't do that. We always lost them.
Well, that's the thing is like I had these really destructive friends that were great because they had a bunch of cool toys, but they're also terrible because they like would break their stuff, and so I would
Yeah.
never. I would always go over to their house and play. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like, hey, let me go hang out here. And play with your guys' stuff because I don't want you touching my stuff and like breaking it all.
Yeah, we had a friend that we do that too. We go over to their place, but remember Devastator, the Transformers. We
Yeah.
had we or yeah, we had everyone but the semi truck, and he had the semi truck. So
Oh.
we one of us, I can't remember who, it wasn't me, but one of us stole it, like took it home so we can make Devastator. We ended up giving it back because our parents were like, "You gotta give that back to him." So
Oh,
so we
they
were all
caught you.
upset.
They're like, all of a sudden,
Yeah, they
somebody has
real
a
because they knew
devastator.
they didn't buy that. They're like, we didn't buy that for you. Where'd you get it? So yeah,
We
so yeah,
found it. It was.
yeah. We just
Look,
happened to
mom.
find the one
I
thing we
was
needed.
walking. We were walking home from school, and
It was just laying in a ditch somewhere. I don't know what happened.
what's crazy? I don't know, like with your parents, but like where I grew up in Dayton, it wasn't even that great of a place, but like it was right next to the Air Force Base, right past Air Force Base, and like it was a neighborhood that was built like in the 50s. My grandfather like bought the house when it was built,
Nice.
and we used to walk to school, right? Like I would walk like I was like probably like 4, and I would go to like kindergarten, right? And like so it'd be me and like a group of like 2 or 3 other guys. And we would like walk the block and then go around and then go to like this church or whatever because that was the local, closest like kindergarten or whatever. I
Hmm.
was sitting there thinking like I would never let my kid
No.
walk on his own, like, and
Well,
it was like it was 2 blocks. It was only 2 blocks, but
yeah, dude. Growing up, no, we would just leave the house and just go play like in woods, and like we'd ride our bikes all over the giant neighborhood and stuff like that. We would go miles away sometimes. And like my youngest nephew, a couple days ago, was like, "Hey, tomorrow can I walk up to the grocery store?" Which, mind you, is maybe like it's about a cigarette away. So it's about 7 minutes away. I quit smoking, but I used to smoke, so it's not far away at all walking. And we were like, I don't know. No, you can't. You're 12. We don't want you walking up 5 minutes to a place. Like I wouldn't let him do it. I didn't want him to do it. It wasn't my decision, but I don't think he did. But yeah, but when we were kids, forget about it, man. We would ride our bikes like all over, like we'd be gone. But once the streetlights came on, you had to be
yeah,
home.
there was like a certain line.
Yeah,
Uh,
you see them coming on, and you're like, oh, I gotta get home. Yeah.
we had. Did you have the international ass whooping rule? Like in my neighborhood, everybody was allowed to whoop your ass. If they were an adult, like, and you were doing something fucked up, like you get a spanking from anybody. Like,
I think my parents weren't against it, but it never happened. Usually, it was just our parents. It's my mom that did the spanking. Our dad never really did like the belt or anything like that, but we knew he had a temper and not to upset him. So, uh, yeah. So, but he didn't like hit. He would punch holes in things and hit other things. And I'm just saying, like every now and then he'd get mad. It wasn't a constant thing, but I don't want to sound like I had a horrible childhood. My childhood was pretty good actually, but yeah. So it wasn't really an international spanking rule, but I think if we did something bad and a neighbor spanked us, I think my mom would probably be like, you deserved it. So
we used
yeah,
to hang out with our neighbors and stuff.
yeah.
So you're Ohio. What's your teams?
You mean sports?
Yeah.
Zero.
All right. You
Uh,
don't have no. Okay.
I
So
don't.
no.
I'm not a sports guy. My mom is huge into like the Browns and Ohio State. I every now and then I'll be like, hey, who's winning or who won, or I might even sit there while a game is on, but I'll be on my phone and while she's watching it just to keep her company. But I'm not interested in sports at all.
So I
Really.
was just saying if you were a Cincinnati or a Cleveland like
Uh,
backer.
it would be Cleveland. Like if I had a choice, like it would be Cleveland. The Browns are the biggest underdogs on the planet, so and it's kind of fun to see them every now and then when they do like well, it's nice. But you're like, they're not going anywhere. Like it. Like they're like, hey, we're doing really well. They're in the playoffs. It's like, yeah, they're not going. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. That's what they do. They're
They're
not going
just
to make
done.
it. It's done. Don't worry about it.
What What's your favorite spots in Ohio? Like, have you traveled around? Have you been in a couple of different places?
We moved around a bit, but mainly in the same area. I honestly, man, I don't even like Ohio. I'm not a big because we have those long winters, and I hate it. That's why I went to
Yeah.
school and college in Florida. But There are some nice like quiet places when I used to drive. I like to go on drives and just listen to music, and you can go out into like you can have this little city pretty much. It's like a mini city, but you just drive like 20 minutes and you're all of a sudden in the country. There's wooded areas, you can see the night sky. It's beautiful. So like stuff like that was I miss doing stuff like that. But it was nice. So there is some nice peaceful times where you just or I used to sit outside, just outside my house. I'd smoke a cigarette when I was younger. I'd be smoking, just looking at the stars at night during the winter when everything is dead quiet, but
Yeah.
it's so peaceful. It's just serene, and you get those moments of just like clarity in a way, just because everything is just so in tuned, and it's rare, and I miss that. I used to like actually sometimes I'll walk from my garage to the house and I'll just stand there and look outside because I get that feeling again. Even though it's cold, it's like 20 degrees. I'll still be like, wow, dude, this it's just everything's just peaceful, serene, and calm, and it hits you, So those are nice. Yeah.
Dig it. I dig it, man.
Yeah.
Uh, so you went to school in Florida. What did you go to school for?
I went to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and at first I went for graphic design because they didn't offer any kind of illustration type program. So at first it was graphic design, and I was in graphic design for like a year and a half, and then they opened up an illustration program, and that's when I went into that. So I got a bachelor's degree in illustration, which is equivalent to less than toilet paper, but
Listen to it. It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
but
it's better than it's got to be better than some kind of like weird historical dance theory or something.
oh, it definitely. Man. This is the thing. Like the art institutes were very unreputable now. Like I didn't
Okay.
know that back then. They're pretty much like just student college mills. They just wanted the
So
money to
like an
pump it out.
ITT tag kind of
In a
thing.
way, yeah, in a way. And I was fortunate though because the one I went to had great teachers. They were all about the students, all about the art and teaching, and actually producing, quality in their students and improving them. Like I always, one of them I'm good friends with still. His name is Jonathan Hunt. Everybody go to huntillustration.com and you will see some of the best watercolor work you've ever seen in your life. The guy is a phenom, and even Frege knows him like a little bit through the internet. So it's kind
Okay.
of cool how things come full circle. But yeah, so I actually was fortunate, even though the college itself was garbage, the teachers were great. So I lucked out. There were several art institutes that the teachers were just more about themselves and like being like, "Hey, I did this," and like not really doing much with their students. But I lucked out. I had good teachers. The only thing I didn't look out on was the bills. Insanely expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still
Well,
tell people, I'm sorry, let me just say, I still tell people to this day, if I get somebody who comes up to me and asks me, what should I do to learn more? I say YouTube. Go on YouTube, go look at books. You don't need to go to art school. You don't. You just end up paying money for the same kind of knowledge that you could learn through, videos on YouTube and books in libraries or bookstores.
well, I would
So
say, I mean, like, if you wanted like a critique, maybe go and do like a local community college thing or something,
that's
or
not
like
bad
join a
too.
group.
That's not bad too. Yeah, go to a local community college. They have great teachers. They will have good teachers there. So you're right. That is an affordable way to get an art degree. So
Yeah,
you're
I
right
mean,
there. Yeah,
just if you just wanted like a couple of semesters of critiques, like you
yeah,
were, you go out of your books, you go off of YouTube, and you're like, well, let me see what a professional says.
yeah. I even went to a community college for a little bit. Took a few classes, and I got introduced to Crumb that way.
Okay.
A teacher was big into Crumb, and he liked what I was doing. He's like, you should check out this guy. So yeah, and I was so that's how I got introduced into like that whole weird underground comic scene was because of him. So yeah, I can't remember his name, and it's unfortunate because he was a good dude. But yeah, a community college is definitely a good way to go about it. Take a few classes.
What if you had the opportunity to like illustrate and do a comic book for a band? Like, what would be like two or three bands that you would dig doing that for?
Uh, there's a band called Dog Fashion Disco and Polka Dot Cadaver. They're kind of like the same, have some of the same band members, so they're kind of like the same thing but different styles. Um, Them. Definitely them. They actually, the guitarist has hit me up a couple times, being like, "Hey, you want to do some artwork?" And I say yes, and that's it. I don't get
It's
any
like
more feedback out of
you're
that.
like
Yeah,
no.
I'm like, "Come on, dude!" But I mean, I'm sure if I hit him up again, be like, "Hey, man, are you really interested?" And I even sent him an art piece because he
Okay.
backed the first book, and a snafu happened. So we had to go through this whole process. It was pretty uh, insane, and I felt horrible with what happened. So I actually sent him an original art piece that I did that was actually inspired by one of their songs.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, so he has one of my original pieces, and it's pretty cool. He loves it, by the way. He digged it, but
My
yeah,
question is, can you play that music without getting completely struck down? Because if you get just like you lose the monetization or like a yellow monetization, it might be worth it if you did like time lapses to like art pieces to songs.
I uh I have done not time lapses, but video. I used to do time lapses with songs like that, but I get struck obviously. But I do time videos of the absolute, and I'll put like Pantera's heavy metal song that's on Heavy Metal 2000. They have a song on there. I put that on there, but I uploaded it to YouTube on private, and then I would upload it to like Twitter or send it to somebody so they could still see it if you have the link. Or I just upload it individually to Twitter where it doesn't really strike it down. It's only a few seconds, so it's not that horrible, but. Uh, but the dog fashion disco polka dot, no, I'd probably get struck, even because it's copyrighted,
Hmm.
um, and stuff like that. But definitely them. I do artwork for. I do.
I do do.
I do. We're 12. No, I do artwork for a band called Something Involving a Monkey, and their last project they had a few artists actually work on. Like they had songs and you would draw something or create a piece of art based on that song. Mine
That's
was
dope.
mine was a song about porn and how it like ruins you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I illustrated something on that. I'm not allowed to show it, even though I did work on it live. But I'm not allowed to show it. He's like, hold off on it until we actually publish anything or put out the album. So I'm not allowed to show it, unfortunately. But I think they turned it into a shirt. So that's
Oh,
really
that
cool
would be
too.
cool.
Yeah. I have a few
Well,
other shirts that I did by them. So.
one of the things that I participate in is I'm a big fan of the Misfits, and Doyle has a solo project now, Doyle von Frankenstein,
Mm.
and it's much better than the first solo project that he did, Gorgeous Frankenstein. This one's called Doyle, and it's like it's what I think the Misfits would be if they were touring like right now with new music. Like
Mm.
it's a lot harder. He found an excellent vocalist that like comes with like really good raw lyrics and stuff, and he had a contest for a music video. So you pick a song off of the first album and then you make a music video to it, and whoever made the best like fan music video won or whatever. And that was one of the things that like with my last ex that I was just with. That was one of the first things like where I like sealed the deal with her, like when we were still friends and kind of talking or whatever, is I talked her into being the counterpart in the music video. And it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
I
it reminds me of Mudvayne. They did that. They did a song where like they shot themselves in front of a green screen, and the contest was like make the music video. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think
that would be really cool.
it was for oh, man. Now I'm blanking on the song. I can't remember the song, but anyway. Yeah.
You know, what would be kind of cool is if you did a contest. You know, depending on how many bands you knew and stuff, and like how big kind of grew your project. But music and comics do cross over more than people realize because there
Yep.
are musicians who have comic companies. But if you like, oh, there's a couple different possibilities where for distribution of like books. But what if you did something like you do my trailer, right? Like I give you the graphics and you set it up. And if you do the background music to this thing, whatever, you're like featured in the comic, you're like a featured character in the background or something.
Honestly, with some of the more like underground bands, you could get away with that. You could do that and make that kind of a deal. And like you said, or maybe they may not be fans of comics, but they're fans of art. Like a
Yeah.
lot of musicians, they love art. No, you're right, they love comics. There's a lot of even just people that collect them, but that like there's like the bands that I mentioned that I would do artwork for. I'm sure that they would be totally down for it. You know, if I like maybe did like they did that, and then I did like a free like album cover maybe, or like a poster for them or something to promote, you know, like an art trade, if you will.
Yeah.
And actually, the one band, Something Involving a Monkey, I mean, I'm friends with the guy, so he actually did the music for my first trailer on the first book, and to compensate, I traded artwork. So, I mean, they're not like huge, but if you know a band guy, hit them up, man. You know, and you're an artist, yeah, that's a great way to go about it. But yeah, that would be cool. And you're right. You give them like the video, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, hey, man, do your thing. You know, and that's what I like to do though with artists and creators. I like to have them do like if I do something, I maybe I might have like, hey, make his eyes green, but I
Hmm.
want them to just do their own thing. I want them to just see what happens. I want them to put their stink on it. You know, so I like
So
doing that.
I'm gonna live pitch something to you. Tell me what you think. I was watching Pops, right, and he had a guy on there pitching a comic book, and I'm gonna try to talk to this gentleman about having him on here. But he is this gentleman's more known, or his main forte was like short films. He had done short films, and he had found distribution, right, to like foreign markets through like a different website, and he actually won a bunch of awards in India because of it. And like there is the possibility of making a live in other countries. David Hasselhoff like had gold records in Germany.
Yep.
The Misfits in the '90s, the Jerry Only version, like with Michael Graves singing, majority of their touring and money was not made necessarily in the U.S., but more like in South America. And that's like what kind of held it up until they started doing the reunion tours, in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
And so what if you did a mashup, right? Like, so what is a good way to get for a musician to get out there? What is a good way for a comic book artist or a comic book to get out there? What if you make a 20-minute short film slash music video that incorporates both properties, the musician and the comic book art, like a specific like character or background that you're looking, and then you market that as a short film and you put it out to all those channels and get it out to those different markets in front of all those eyeballs.
Do you mean like creating like a short film about creating the comic and like seeing
Or
people work on
no,
it, and
no,
then
no,
the band?
like taking a property, like you take Absolute, right, and you sign up with a band, and you two create a music video that is representative of both the Absolute property and the band. As a 20-minute like short film, like musical short film, right, that you can then like take to all kinds of festivals and stuff and get your eyes, because then like also if you're on, if there's a presenter touring it, they could like take copies of the book, they could take copies of the record with them.
It's not a terrible idea. The only problem that would arise would be the time length. A lot of people these days don't have that attention span. Dude, look at when Tool's new last album came out. There
Well,
was a lot of new people were like 14-minute song.
oh
What's
no,
going
no,
on
the
here?
only reason I say 20 minutes because that's a short film, to like literally,
Right.
because I'm talking to like taking it to short film
I
festivals.
think it would be right, and if it's a short film festival, yeah, it would have to be that length. So it's not a bad idea. It would be you'd have to like work on how to develop it and further get it so like people that still watch it continuously,
Hmm.
because like I said, people do have short attention spans these days. So yeah, but it's not a terrible idea, man. Yeah.
The other thing I thought is if a lot of people did some licensing deals and got on with alternative, because there's a lot of properties developing. This is what I love about this middle area is it's expanding, and people are building more. They're getting more projects out. They're getting better at it. They're getting more efficient at it. There's more and more properties coming. There's more creators coming, and so it's creating enough ground, I think, to where you could solicit a monthly catalog and almost do like that manga style kind of thing and put that book out there. And one of the things I think would be major is to start making contacts to markets that would be even more that are huge, right? So like the Italian and French comic markets, if we could make contacts there and get the book, those books over there, figure out translations and stuff, and tap into another market that has a huge like flavor for things.
I can't remember who it was, but I know somebody is working on getting their stuff translated into different languages. I think over in Europe, like they want to get it over to Italy, or is it Irene that's working on getting something translated? I can't remember what it is, but I know somebody is working on trying to do something similar to that. Like expansion is definitely what we want, especially like you say in the middle ground. And the only problem that comes up with like the underground, the middle ground, whatever we may be, is we can't afford to do it full time. So
Yeah.
our books are like usually once a year, or maybe if you're lucky, you'll get two. So, but the
But
ideal concept is to be able to do this as a living, where you could put out 3 to 4 campaigns every year,
mhm.
and just pump it out and actually do like quarterly content.
So
But at
I
this rate, we
think
can't.
I think that it might be a long term investment, right? For a thing. I think it's like one of those things where you buy a hot dog cart and you start out on the weekends and you just sit there and you build and you pay off the hot dog cart. Then you get a little bit more, and
Right.
you just kind of move around. I think it's you have to build up your properties, and then like I said, once you have properties enough to distribute, I think a big thing is like turning these books that are 50 some pages up to 70 or 100, or in the case of Joe Ball, 300 pages
300.
that you can separate into smaller volumes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you can turn it into a trade comic book.
Yeah, especially something that size. Yeah, definitely. And you're not wrong into like, hey, expanding it out into like other, countries. But the only problem that we all have, all of us, is getting eyes on it, because things cost money. Like advertising costs
So
money, marketing costs money, and if we only make like $6,000 on a camp, like we don't even make that.
yeah,
You might make like
so
1,500 if you're lucky. So you can't really afford to do all those
that's where I'm
things.
saying doing the licensing thing and taking the page out of manga and doing that compilation book, right?
Mhm.
But taking it to places literally like where that still exists, where that's still in the culture that you could. There are newsstands to put it on.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. If we got this stuff on newsstands, like you said, like smaller volumes or something like that, that would be cool, man. That would definitely be awesome. Yeah.
If try to reach out. I mean, I would like be very interested because I think that would help build the supremacy to also get the distributors over here in America's eyes again to like reset this industry. The one thing
Right.
I was talking to Chubbs last night about was is like we have an amazing opportunity. There was a lot of wrongs that happened within the comic book community as far as creators and like their due earnings and whatnot. And like now this is a whole new age. Like we learned all those mistakes. Here's a lot of opportunities to make really great deals with people. You know, artist to artist, like working out things where it could be percentages and stuff, and maybe take a lower pay cut on the page rate, or maybe I'll do these 5 pages if you do this cover and this trading card for me, or whatever is equivalent work.
Yeah. And yeah, the good thing about that is like somebody does something like hey, you do sketch cards for my campaign, I'll do like a poster for your campaign. We may not get paid for those because we're trading art, but that campaign might have different eyes on it than what mine does. So they might be like, who's this artist? Who's this creator? Or get somebody to write even like the ash can to something, and people like read it like, oh, I really like this. What else has he done? That's a good way to get everything within the actual CG indie scene moving around, and different people in different areas. Our problem comes from breaking that bubble. We need to get out of those areas and into like different forms, like you said, newsstands, other countries that may not even know we exist, stuff like that. And it's hard to do because comics are kind of like a dying medium, but we still love it, and we're storytellers, so we want to tell stories that are fun and fascinating. So, and
And well, I think it's also just an American thing. It's like if you like really have like I'm a veteran. I have like this super. I have a hard on for America, and like it's like the thing. It's the underdog. It's the fight. Like we can
yeah,
insurmountable odds don't really exist to America.
yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, we definitely like to be. We like to try to overcome the odds at all costs. Yeah. Yeah.
We built some like really awesome campaigns. What do you, as far as like doing the rounds and stuff? What are some of your favorite like streams to do aside from yours and Death Metal Heroes joint one?
I really enjoy Fregus. I love being on with Freg because with him, it's all about at least with his channel. It's all
Yeah.
about artwork. It's about pop culture. It's about having a good time. that's what I love. So I love being on Fregas when I can. Bancrofts is fun to be on too because you get the rhythm, you get to have fun with the chat, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
you get to just like go on and be sarcastic and but also talk about serious topics sometimes. So I like being on Bancrofts as well. It's a good time. And Irene's is a fun
Irene.
channel. Yeah, it's a fun channel because you
I
never know what's going to
I had
happen.
her on. I did an interview with her. She's by far the most popular person that I've had.
Oh,
I
she
mean,
is. Yeah,
she
without a
just
doubt.
she's just
And,
so like fire. I mean, the personality is great.
yeah.
She engulfs the panel real quick.
Yeah, I do enjoy being on Vinny's channel. I don't get to be on as often as I'd like because he streams on Sunday nights, and
I
that's usually
like
when I
Vinny
have
a
dinner.
lot.
Yeah,
I like Vinny a lot.
yeah,
I
I do
like
too.
his Dr. Fauci things that he does, and I like the
Yeah,
fact that his role playing character for his game with Irene is like a Alex Jones.
yeah, I remember him talking about that. That's the thing. Vinny knows he can have a good time. Vinny can have fun, and I like being
Oh
on
my
that. And he also
god!
does talk about like I said, like the nerd stuff and stuff like that. So,
Oh
and
damn
he's a
it!
talented dude. So yeah, but like I said, I haven't been able to get on there because it's usually dinner time whenever he's streaming, and I spend
Oh
it with the
damn it!
family. What happened?
I just have a troll in the chat, and I like trying to put people in timeout, but
Oh, okay.
unblock them. But I put it on screen, so I'll go back and edit
Hmm.
that later.
Yes.
But never mind, never mind. Continuing on, like with the grind.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it's fucking. I think it's cool that Dan Fraga opens up his panel and kind
Hmm.
of brings on like some of the other creators and stuff, and like allows people to get to know them. And I think that it's cool that there is so much synergy that you have, like your Matt Bars, like mixing in there, and giving all the tips and stuff, and then the different like programs and coming up like the different ways that you can do,
Right.
all the different stuff. I think also what I would like to see. I told Joe Capitano this is like one of the other things that might be helpful is some of these brushes and stuff that what brushes that you use as an artist. Like there's some really good brush kits and different things, and
Yeah,
you
and
know
a lot of artists are more than willing to supply that. Billy Basco tried hooking me up with some cool art brushes, but my Photoshop for some reason was being stupid and didn't want to accept them. But yeah, and they're all more than willing to do stuff like that, or even like actual like brushes, like use the don't use the Winsor Newton. It's a use a Raphael, number 3.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, and that's what's great about Frega's channel is that it is about the artwork and how to produce it and stuff. And we also talk about food and stuff like that. And he also brings on, like you said, he brings on that middle ground, those middle ground people who normally wouldn't get to be on a professional's channel, like and get 150 eyes on their campaign, So
Yeah.
it's Frega's all heart, and that's what I love. I really like that.
So I have a question. If it was local to you, and I think that I know this is going to be regional for people, but like I just did the Lilac City Comic Con. We went there and checked it out. We did a little live stream, or whatever. Now the thing that broke my heart was there was only like three real comic book creators there, right? Like
Hmm.
independent creators. The rest was like a bunch of people doing artwork, and that's great. They were like artists, and they would do like stills, but they weren't selling a comic book or didn't have
Right.
an independent property per se. And then there was a couple of novelists, and then a bunch of like junk vendors and some celebrity, like your celebrity signee people. Um, and I was just there sitting there thinking like Spokane is like literally 6 hours away in all directions. 6 hours away, there's a major city, whether it's Seattle or Portland or Bend, Oregon, or So it actually is a hub, and there is an untapped resource there. And I thought, what if CG like made that a thing? Like, what if the West Coast CG artists like were able to get out to that Comic Con and do that up?
Yeah, I definitely would. I would. Yeah, if I could drive, I would be at more comic conventions. Actually, like I can't. My mother kind of has to drive me everywhere, and I don't want to haul her around.
Yeah.
4 to 5 hours away. She's 65, so I mean, she'd be more than willing to do it. She's the most supportive person that I have. So she'd be more than willing to do it. But I have that mindset that I'm like, I can't do that to you. But locally, yeah, dude. And I've even done a couple conventions before Absolute came out.
Yeah.
And people got to see me, and they were I got eyes on my artwork and sold plenty of things. Um, So yeah, but now that Absolute's out, it would be even better because I have content.
Well, I think shaking there's a lost value to shaking hands, that person to person
Oh yeah.
salesmanship, and being in person and be able to meet the guy that you found his property and you're like, oh, I admire this, and you're like, oh, and now I'm getting in on the inside thing of it.
Mhm. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I did a couple. I miss that. I miss that face to face interaction. Just hearing like we can hear people in the chat, and sometimes we could bring them on streams, but it's not the same. It's not the
Yeah.
same as going to a con and meeting the fan, in physical form, and just actually, being in their presence and talking with them, or even not a fan, but just a new person that comes up and just starts talking to you about, Wolverine and what much their adamantium would weigh him down if he were like just stupid things like that. So yeah, it's definitely I definitely miss it.
So let's play the trailer real quick.
Yeah.
Captured and tortured for information, prodded and probed by the Envy Horde to reveal the secrets of the Tumulti and secure their position as the ultimate species. Will they survive? Will the joining of two new heroes help them overthrow vicious Envy overlords? Will their heroics save the planet? Find out on the epic conclusion to Absolute.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So real quick, just because we're at the hour 30 mark, can you give everybody a update or another breakdown of what it is? And I'm going to refresh my drink while you do that, sir.
Yeah, it's mainly about a lone bounty hunter gets thrust into a war he didn't ask for, and he meets up with a young woman along the way, and they get into this pathway of taking back the planet from the alien invaders that took it down and are conquered it a long time ago. And so it's a story about trust, about character, and about compassion in a way. You get to learn about these characters and how they communicate and interact with one another as they go, and whether or not they can actually succeed in this goal that he actually didn't even want to participate in the first place. So it's a very dangerous endeavor, and so you get to learn to see what happens in the end. It's a fun alien sci-fi magic, sword wielding adventure. It's almost a stereotypical alien invasion book, but with a little twist of like D&D aspects and superpowers. So it's a fun book, and that's what I wanted to put out, something that's entertaining and good to read. And people love the first issue. I've gotten nothing but compliments. And if anybody has anything negative to say, they can also contact me and be like, hey, I really didn't like what you did here. I'm more than willing to listen to anything that people have to say, but it's been getting nothing but good feedback. So I'm really hoping to deliver that again on the second book, and wrap this story arc. This is the end of this story arc, but Absolute, the title itself will continue.
Okay.
It's kind of like Sin City in that way, where I could even tell stories of people that might pass away, or that are too old but now they're young, or I could. So it's like Sin City in that regard, where it's more about the character rather than the entire universe. Like, yeah, this is an alien invasion story, but it still only takes place on this one little place.
So I've been remiss in saying this before, but all these links, this link and links to Facebook, Instagram, and everything else for Jason are all actually in the description of this video, and you can easily find it and back that project. And I suggest you do, because you can catch up, and you only have so many opportunities to catch up before it's incinerated, and you can only get a book.
Get the all foil Absolute Valkyrie trading card. And this has D&D stats on the back.
So that was a question I was just going to ask you. It's something that Irene did. I was going to ask you, did you have Pathfinder
I did it first. I did it first. My first book.
I'm the OG.
I'm the OG. My first campaign. I have trading cards with D&D stats on the back of it. So she didn't rip me off. She didn't even know I did it. Like when she heard that I did that, she was ecstatic, because she's did that with hers. So the trading cards have D&D stats on the back.
That's right.
You can integrate it into Pathfinder.
That means
So
you can take the standee idea from her and add that to your D&D
yeah,
stats.
yeah, that's my idea. No, yeah, but you can integrate them into Pathfinder because I asked her. I'm like, is because of the way the stats are,
Okay.
you can you really have just the main stats, and you can just integrate those into Pathfinder and just work it in if you want. So
Oh,
you
boom.
can play as this, you can have a artwork of your character, and you can play as them. So even the old Absolute Valkyrie is upside down, isn't it? No,
Mhm.
it's not. The old Absolute Valkyrie trading card that was on the first campaign that was all foil. That
Okay.
even has the D&D stats in the back. So yeah.
Mm. So what edition of D&D is your edition?
This one was from second edition. Just because that was the last one I played when I was
Okay, so that's I was gonna say that's my thing is I love second edition
yeah.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and like
Yep.
I'm of the opinion like that's the most superior edition to
It
date.
is. You're right. You're right. Yeah, it is. That's the last one I played. So yeah, but that's why it's based off of that. And I did ask Irene though. I'm like, why did this? I'm like, and I know people are more into Pathfinder now. And she's like, yeah, you can actually put it in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I think it was funny when I found out she had stats in the back of hers. I'm like, oh, your campaign's more
Ooh.
popular. People are going to think you did it first. So yeah, it's funny.
Mm. You can put OG on there. You can make that a
Yeah,
like
I
part
love
of it.
Irene though, so it's all good. It's all good.
I know. I want to see some more crossover stuff. You know, I just got Cobolton, and on the back of it, there's a Mavericks advertisement, and I
That's cool.
love that kind of
Yeah.
synergy, dude.
Yeah, I would love to do something with Plagal. I mean, mainly we're friends, so that's kind of why I love his artwork. But I would love to do something with him. Like I was thinking maybe like I draw something to my style and then give it to him. He
I
draws something in
can't
his
believe
style.
Plagel's not like on the hot rod convention art scene, like just tearing it up, making money hand over fist because he like is so good.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
so
well,
good.
work also does come into play where if he's working and working on the comic and doing all this YouTubing stuff, it's kind of hard to get out to conventions too and even on the scene. But he does sell. He's done it. He's not a stranger to the scene. So yeah.
Yeah. It's sick. I love his rendering, his detail. Goblin Girl is like one of the coolest things I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
It's one of the two tattoos that I've decided like that I'm gonna get on my leg. I'm gonna do like a
Yeah.
little
Goblin
probably like a
Girls.
CG sock. So Goblin Girl is like the first one, and then I talked to Allie and we're gonna do like an egg beater one. But
Right.
I'm gonna figure out some other stuff. But I was like that's so like I want to see more synergy, and I always loved like seeing the advertisements and stuff and like crossovers. If you get like a couple of pages from other people and stuff that you're friends with and
I
work
think
with, you know.
the Embrace and Perfect 10, like they did a poster. I think if you back both campaigns, you got that poster. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those kinds of things are pretty nifty. I know Neff did that with a couple of campaigns. I just was like, man, he did so. Neff hit like every if there was like something you could do, he did it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Mavericks is a great campaign. Yeah.
What are you excited to see that's coming out?
Oh, Goblin Girl. That yeah,
Goblin Girl.
Goblin Girl and Arc Athena.
Okay.
I mean, I love Kennedy. Yeah, I really am excited about Arc Athena and Goblin Girl. Those are the main ones I would say right now. Maybe Mary Boys 2. The sequel to
Yeah,
Mary Boys. Yeah.
I had him on last night.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm a Carl
man,
Stefan fan. Yeah.
I'm stoked back in that project, but god damn that shipping. That's the only thing that got me. Is like,
Yeah,
god damn that
that's
shipping.
unfortunate. But and see, this is the other cool thing. Like, I never knew who he was up until I saw him on a EVS art auction, and then that's how I found him, and now I became a fan. And then and then next thing you know, we're on streams together. It's a surreal thing, Like I'm a fan of this guy now, and now I get to talk to him. So yeah.
You know, it's really cool. I would say like this is the first time that I've been like as a comic book consumer this aware of like the artist that I'm consuming from. Like that it's like an actual effort to purchase either from people that I really dig personality wise or their properties are just they're just undeniable good.
Yeah.
They're just good property, a solid idea.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is a shame, but what I do like about how kind of CG is developing is that people are bad. There are some people who have killer products. They have just a book that's just amazing, and they have the personality on stream of like cardboard, you know what I mean? And they just like don't celebrate. But then you start looking through the project and you start reading it, like whatever lines they have posted, and you like look at the art, like this is ridiculous. Like this came from this guy, like. So I like that there's a little bit of a system now, you know, like I like the Pops Van Sans and stuff because I think it gives people an opportunity to get past that thing that you have to when you're first learning to stream.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. And honestly, like I was fortunate, like I said, Frago was the first one, but when I first jumped in, he only had about 10 to 20 viewers. Like he didn't have massive
Oh, was it
amounts.
like the
It
150, like
wasn't, dude.
or like
Yeah,
the massive?
because it was the Couch Doodle show, and that's where he started. And he's initially started it to teach people technique, and talk to people and have just get do stuff like that. And I would jump in, and so I I was nervous at first, obviously. Like I'm still talking to Dan Frega, but also there's 15 other people watching that I don't even know who they are. So I think, and that's not a small channel, it blew up, but I'm just saying like it was small. So I think if you're first doing this, go on channels like, Death Metal Hero or mine, or like this Wise Guys, I mean, he has 400 subs, but it's not like 12,000, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, go on those smaller channels and you get comfortable. You get comfortable in people watching and talking to somebody you don't know, and you
I
also get to
think
learn.
you get to learn pitches and you get to
Yep.
refine your campaign too. I
Yep.
think that's a big
Yeah,
thing.
go on smaller channels to do stuff like that. One thing that helped me actually, I'd go live on Facebook before I did all this stuff, and I would
Okay.
learn. Yeah, I'd be live on Facebook and I'd be drawing, so that got me comfortable with drawing live in front of people. But actually going on long streams, like an hour, hour and a half, 4 hours, it's those like streams that don't have channels that don't have thousands of subs, but they're still great streams, and you get more comfortable with that tight knit. So once you do get on that channel that has a lot of subs, you're more comfortable. You're a little more relaxed. It's still nerve wracking, but you learn how to control it.
Well, also, I mean, once you get into community stuff, right? Like where you get with, I mean, I wouldn't say everybody's a friend, but maybe like just even if they're just like an online associate that you regularly stream on their channel and stuff, like there gets the comfortability of being at like the water cooler and just being able to have the conversation. And then, after a while, that just slowly, the 10,000 hours, it just kind of works into your muscle memory and makes it just easier for you to manage.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That example is perfect. The water cooler.
Speaking of water cooler, oh man, I wish that they would bring back movies like Office Space and stuff. That would be so dope.
That movie's so fantastic.
It's so ridiculous. Hey man, what are you doing?
Yeah, sadly, comedies for sure are almost dead. Like I don't know when the last good comedy came out. I can't even remember. I love comedies too, but I mainly watch the older ones. And when I say old, I mean stuff like Hot Fuzz or something like that. It's not old, but it's there. But I also watch.
Oh, I was gonna say because if you can go old, like I love old because I'll watch John Candy and Eugene Levy and
all day.
Rick Moranis all day every day.
Yeah,
Armed and Dangerous. Like you get into.
Oh, dude, that
like,
movie's
really...
fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. I love stuff like that, and like. Yeah, action movies, they're still around, but they're hit and miss. Like Nobody was really good.
Yeah, but there's no like great like buddy cop movie. There's like, I mean, the last kind of thing you had was like Bad Boys, but there's no like, there's a certain brilliance to Lethal Weapon. I don't care what anybody says. Like
No,
there's very dynamic characters and like there's a lot that really built that movie.
Yeah. The buddy cop thing is gone by the wayside too. A lot of things have, but hopefully, like you said, things will turn around eventually. It might take a while, but we'll slowly start to see, like, because of monetary reasons, it might be like, wow, we're just not doing what we used to, and it might really pick up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it doesn't seem like they ever like change things that make sense. Like, okay, if you were gonna like gender swap something, why wouldn't you gender swap something like Turner and Hooch if you're going to do a remake? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's an easy, because it's a detective cop and it's a dog that you have to deal
Well,
with. Like,
they gender swapped Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
uh,
It was not good.
yeah, that's
Not good at all.
that doesn't make sense. See that, but that wasn't built. That's what I'm saying. That's not like like there's certain characters that you could gender swap because it doesn't have to be a male or female.
Right,
But
exactly.
there's other roles that like it is important that it's a male.
Yeah, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was one of them. But well, even your boy Zach had covered this, and he's not wrong. He's like, you can make certain characters different races and genders because it doesn't almost matter, like you said. But there's some characters you just can't because of their history, their backlog, their social standing,
Because
where
the
they grew up.
joke, the storyline, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
there's a
Like,
lot of things that are about it that you just can't. It just doesn't make sense. Like you could do it, but it ain't gonna be comfortable. It ain't gonna fit.
well, people
So-
are going to notice it. It's
And
like
you're
it's
gonna
just like
notice it.
dude, it's like bad CG or even really really great CG. You can just tell when something's slightly off.
Yep.
You
exactly.
just your eye just knows like that's not real.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. We're not against like all that stuff. We're against it when it's done wrong and done
Yeah.
badly. So, otherwise, that we don't care. We don't care about all that stuff. They think we care about all that stuff. So, yeah.
No, yeah, no. I just want good storylines. I don't want things to make sense, and like I want to have fun with it. And like also, can we just like it's getting back to like understanding what's inappropriate. Like the movies aren't a celebration just because it's a comedy and someone's doing something inappropriate. We're not saying that like that's like yay that person like go go go. It's like no, it's funny because they're doing the inappropriate person and recognize that this is a hyperbolic character and that this shouldn't happen. That's the comedy of the whole thing. That's the peeping scenes in the old movies and stuff. Like yes, it's not appropriate to people. We all understand this, but like it is extremely funny in Porky's when they're peeping on him, and then the one dude puts his wee wee through the little thing, and the big gym teacher grabs it and yanks it. Like that's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Yeah. People are just too uptight these days. The younger peoples. I feel like the old person when we say stuff like that, but it's true. That's the thing, though. There's even young people that aren't like that do realize it and they say it. So it's not like it's just an old people thing. It's a true thing.
My thing is like, why don't you tap the resources you have before you start switching things over? Like before we like deteriorate all these other things, like. What happened to just like doing a really good version of like Blade? Like you want a black character, like what about Blade?
Yeah.
Like what happened to that?
Well,
like what happened to Spawn? What happened to Spawn?
Yeah.
Like why can't we develop like, we do these Batman movies, like why can't we do like an actual put money behind it, make $100 million Spawn movie? Because I guarantee you that would be something people would want to go see.
And that's an already established ethnic character. Or even whatever sexual standing they may have. Pick somebody that's already established. Why do you don't have to just change somebody that's already popular. Make those other characters popular. It's not Blade is actually pretty popular.
What about like a Luke Cage? You know what I mean?
And
like,
Luke Cage,
like that. It's like that'd be another like. How about we take this character and make a movie for this character and finally. And like I said, if you go back in history, it's called sales history.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go to the secondary. Excuse me. You go to the secondary market and you see what has the most value. There are going to be story arcs that exist, and you cross-reference and you go, okay, here's like the handful of stories that are easily going to sell, that are easily going to just blow up.
Yeah.
They're proven. They're proven to the largest audience. It seems like comic books is like what happened to wrestling, where it's like gotten down to this niche audience. They used to comic books used to be in newsstands and everywhere, and like on spinner racks and pharmacies and stuff. And like wrestling used to have like 70-year-old women and children and like 50-year-old men. Like there was a range of people that would go watch wrestling, and now it's like
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. I don't know what happened. So
the slow societal structural decay. But you know what I mean? I think I have hope for things to come back, but the other thing is that every once in a while sometimes you have to have like a a burning, right? Like in the forest, in nature, a forest burns out, but then
Controlled
that
fire.
but that clears out for new growth, and it's
Yep.
like I think that's what it is. It's time for like there was a lot of complaint. Like yes, it's sad that there's something happening to some beloved characters in Marvel and DC. However, there was a lot of issues with Marvel and DC. You know,
Yeah.
aside from like the new story ones. And so now, like I said, you have the opportunity to do it new, to do it better, to make new opportunities, and maybe also discuss some things. Musicians have two. There's two corporations that are pretty much nationally recognized, right? They have the almost to collect for music artists, right? Whether your music's you're getting a portion for your music playing in bars or your music playing on the radio or whatever it is, like, and maybe that needs to happen with artwork for artists.
Well, I had this discussion with a friend of mine about music, where like we were talking about the new Deftones album, and I was like, well, I don't like. I want the like first three albums were really good, and then they kind of changed formula. And she's like, well, just go listen to those albums then. And I was like, no, I want new content. I want it different, but I want that sense of familiarity to it. That that just draws me in. And when they do away with that familiarity, I don't like it anymore, even though it's good. Like, so you could do that with everything. Like, you could redo comics and bring them back, change them, but keep that little spice in there that everyone's familiar with, that they're comfortable with, and that they grew up with, and you could make it a hit again. You just got to have that right recipe. It's like a steak. If it's just salt and pepper that you love on it, somebody takes away the pepper, you're like, well, it's still seasoned with decent amount of salt, and I like it, but it's not the same,
Yeah.
So I just think that's what it is. You need that sense of familiarness that you're like, okay, I'm comfortable, but it's different, and let's see where it goes. So.
If someone approached you on the street and they had a cosplay of your a really good cosplay of one of your characters in your book, what do you think?
Dude, I'd be ecstatic.
Would you hook them up? Would you hook them up with like a sketch card, maybe?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely. I'd hook them up if they came across me. Like if somebody pulled like this off,
Yeah.
I'd give them a little free artwork. Yeah, definitely. Or like a free poster, something like that. Yeah, definitely.
See, now the word's out there. Now you know.
Yeah.
You can buy your way into Jason's heart. Good cosplay.
Not hard to do.
And you too can get some. Oh, you know what I'd like to see again is you unboxed something in your stream earlier, and it was that Luke drawing.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Which one? I got 3 of them.
I think it was like the motorcycle one.
Oh, it's Lobo. Yeah, it was Lobo. It's getting dark, so I don't know if he'll show up. But...
There we go. Man, this is a really good one.
Yeah, like I said, Luke improves with everything he does, and his book is going to be awesome.
And he's your co-host every week, and you guys flip back and forth between your channels.
Right, so technically I'm his co-host whenever it's on his channel, and then he's my co-host when it's on my channel. So, and then we usually drop the link in our DM group, Topicless DM group, and people come in. So,
I know. I got into that circle of acceptance.
Yeah. The goal for Topicless is, and not everybody needs to do it, but it's mainly like come on and create something. Whether it be artwork, working on cosplay, knitting. That's encouraged on Topicless. That sense of creativity. Fate Salvation is on there quite often. He doesn't do that, but he has a YouTube channel and he produces content that way. So you don't always have to be doing a creative thing, but we encourage it. I'll be like, if somebody comes on and I know that they're a creative, I'm like, what are you working on? Because that's what I want. I want more artwork, more creativity out of the creators. I want it to be about artwork and just that's or crafting. Anything that deals with the arts. So I encourage it. So does Luke, and that's where it started off as. Actually, was to get Luke to drawing more often, and he he has been. So, and that's great. And so he was like, hey, let's just bring other people on and keep going with that creative flow. So
Have you got a chance to go on Hockey Show yet?
I did.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
It's
No,
fun.
like
I had a great time, and I would love to do it again. I know it's on Tuesdays, and I will be late for topicless, but Luke's
well, I was gonna say,
Luke's
what if you guys did like a topless edition where it was like you and Luke, like a special edition, so you both are on there together.
Ooh. Like we did that with Frege. He let us in. We did a topicless / Frege.
I saw that. That
for
was
October.
that was the last one. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
guys were going live, but they're like, but Will was pulling you in. He's like,
Yeah. So so that actually be kind of cool to get Luke and I to do Hockey Show, and then once that's done, we go into topicless.
yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I'll tell him about it.
Because I think that's really dope. The other thing is I would almost like to see a spin off of Hockey Show where let's say you take 3 or 4 artists and you have a timer, right, and you switch the art like 3 or 4 times throughout the stream, but it would be people who have each other's DMs, right? So yeah, you would start on one, but by the end of the switches, you'd be on a different page, right?
It would have to be digital. It
Yeah.
would have to be a digital drawing. But yeah, that's a cool idea, man. You would get something pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, just
Like
a
if you
bunch
had
of different artists.
you get like you get like Luke, me, and maybe we'll just say Christopher John because he's amazing talent. He doesn't do that many. He doesn't do digital, but this is just an example anyway. You would get something so out of the box, and that would be pretty cool, man. That's a good idea. We should tell Hockey about that.
There you go. Some kind of like scramble. I don't know, like an art
There you
scramble
go.
or something.
Art scramble. There you go. Yeah.
It would almost feel like the art Mad Libs, you know, because it's like, what do I have to work with? And like,
Kind of did something like that when we were kids. Like I would fold a piece of paper 3 times. I would draw the top, and then you fold it so the middle is showing, but you just have the lines going to where it attaches. So they would draw something, but they didn't know what you drew. So you would get this like, and then you have 3 people. You unfold it, you get this weird, odd creature, or just thing, and it was fun when we were kids. We used to do that.
oh yeah, I could see that because like you could have like this, whatever kind of guy, and then you get into the middle, and it's like a clown suit or something. It's
Yeah,
into,
and
like,
then the bottom
weird
feet are like dinosaur feet or something.
Yeah, dinosaur like chicken legs or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And when I was a kid, I used to do stuff like have somebody draw 2 lines anywhere on a piece of paper, and I would draw something from it. I would create something out of it. So.
Could you, if you had a loose storyline, right? Could you imagine trying to do a comic book like that, doing like maybe something short run, like a 22-page something that would be in like the $10 or $15 range or something on here on an IndieGoGo campaign, but it's like a project like that because there is some creative projects. There is like the dwarf versus lion thing. That's an interactive project, and that would be kind of a.
Well, if you're working with other creators on a project, you get into the point of like you have to pay them or they get a percentage. You know, you have to work things out. But yeah, I mean,
well,
it can be done.
I think it would be probably a percentage book in that deal. Like
it would have to be, and you can do it. So yeah, as long as they might get the idea that hey, you might only get like $300 at the end, but it's more for a fun,
more for the fun and content. You know
fun,
what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be a content builder. It's something to add to the lore of your stuff, which I think is important. You have to endear people like to your product to you.
It's not a foreign idea. Jonathan Wayshak and Sam Keith have been working on When Chickens Revolt, where Sam would draw a page, and then he would then it would be Jonathan Wayshak's turn to draw a page, and they would just continue the story. There's no like plot line at all. So there's no storyboards or art.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, like a comic book telephone. That'd be kind of amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. And so yeah, it's like it's like one page is like their styles are kind of similar, but you can still tell the difference. So yeah, so then Sam would do one, John would do one.
Now I kind of want to revise this. Now I want to do a serialized strip. Like where like the back like biker magazines or in like Cracked or something, and just 1 page per artist. And just like let this person start the story, and then the next person goes with it, and then whoever gets the story next, it's their turn, and just see what 20 pages turns into.
Rata and Glory did a similar thing. It was a 24-hour stream. Each artist had an hour, And then the next, he would draw a page, and then he had another. It was all digital, obviously. And then the next person came in. They continued the story and drew a page. It was like 14 artists or something like that. I can't 15 because some people didn't show, and stuff like that. Or some artists had 2 hours rather than one. But yeah, this was a while ago. This is a year and a half ago, maybe, or a year ago, and it was on Rotten Glory's channel. And sadly, we don't know where he is. He stopped streaming because
Oh no.
he's a good dude. I'm sure he's still alive, but I think he just dropped off. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't take just didn't want to deal with everything. But it was fun, man. Everybody had a good time. I met Passion for Drawing on Rotten Glory, so I had some good communication. I met Sim, everything like that. So yeah, it was fun.
You know who I would want to do something with if I was to do a book is Billy, because he's another Marine, and I think it would just be cool.
Yeah, I like Billy, and he's a good dude.
Yeah. He's a really cool dude, and he does like really great work. And then I actually heard him and Sim or Ink Spots. I heard Ink Spots, talking him up when he was on Scotsman's channel with Sim.
Yeah, and Ink Spots isn't wrong when he talks him up because Billy's really good. He's really good. Yeah, I've seen a lot of artwork he's produced, even drawings that he's done. He's really good. Yeah, I like Billy.
I liked his. I got the Starlight Cats for my daughter, and so I got the Billy poster, the hanging in there poster. I think that's pretty dope. But I think that's again, that's like the synergy of things. I want to see more of that, and I don't the big top creators. I think eventually what needs to happen, like when you get to a certain point, I think that you can hit a certain amount of like backers per project. And when you get to that point, then it needs to be like, go from 1 book a year to 2 books a year. And then I would think that quarterly would be your ultimate goal. If you could get quarterly.
To me, quarterly is the ultimate goal. Like I said, I have a full-time job. I also have to take care of like my nephews or cook. Well, mainly my one because he's the youngest one. So doing stuff like that. So or even spending time with the family, like things come into play. But if you can cut that 8-hour job straight into drawing, you can do quarterly, no problem, on these campaigns. So
that's why I want to see the cons. I want to see people do cons and not just the digital thing, because I think that this gets insular sometimes. And while there is like boost to it and it does build a basic fan base that's very strong, like you need to help get out there more.
Well, cons are slowly starting to come back because of the beer virus. They were on hiatus, so they're slowly starting to come back. And like Freg has been doing quite a few of them. But I definitely like for the Fans Fest. I think when it happens, I know he wants it so that way we don't have to wear masks. Everybody can just see each other and stuff like that. So I get where he's coming from, and that's why it keeps getting pushed back. But I think that'll be a huge event, and it'll be so much fun.
Well, I want to see Creators Alleys, man. I want to see all your creators there. I want to see all these books lined up because it's sick. Like when people take pictures, you get on Twitter and you see people's collection of books, and I'm not talking about like your Malins and stuff like that, but you see like all these other books that have been like made through CG and stuff.
Yeah,
like, it's amazing, dude. First time creators, some people professionals, some behind the scene professionals, whatever. Like it's all over the map and just different, all kinds of different ridiculous cool work. You got octopus stories, you got you got gorilla stories, you have your story like this futuristic alien thing. There's just you have Templar Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like there's just like it's dope. It's dope. Yeah. There's like a big expansive field.
There's a lot of stuff to pick from and a lot of genres in this crowdfunding scene. And if you were to see that in an artist alley, it's like a candy store, because there's all this different cool quality out there and they're all right in front of you. So actually it'd be very hard to be like, what do I buy? Because you only have so much money. So it would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's where you do like, like for all the people who can only afford that one big thing, you do like some kind of package deal, right? Where it's like pieces from each one of you from artists that are all CG, like the CG pack. So you just make like a $50 pack and you throw in stickers and patches and different things from everybody. And then you do one book that is just like a couple of pages from each artist.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Just like some little just con only thing, and that makes it another thing too. Like people are special, like special thing to come see you at the con, like to come on the foot traffic, or you were at the con and you discovered it, like you're on the ground floor for it.
And that would be something like to get like I'm friends with Plagle, Christopher John, Luke, Billy, Matt. I'm friends with these guys, so you'd kind of have to be friends in a way to do it. If you get like total strangers involved, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I want to do the cover. I want to do this," and then, but if you're friends, you're like, "Yeah, dude, I don't care. Do the cover." You get along a little more, and you wouldn't fight.
Easier to
it's just an easier flow. Yeah. So but it's not a bad idea.
But I mean, even if it was groups, like you know what I mean. Like I could go and like if I can't afford.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
We're wrapping up soon.
Okay. Well,
Sorry,
it has been no, not a problem. It has been 2 hours. You've been very gracious with your time. I just
no, it's not a problem. Yeah, it's getting close to dinner. So
Well, let's wrap it up, sir. Let's do some final thoughts on here, and we'll play the video, and then we'll call it a good day.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah. So I can be found obviously on all the things below in the description. Everybody go back Absolute Book 2. It's the wrap up to the story arc. This ends the story arc of this alien invasion, and it's a fun adventure.
There we go. With that, we'll play this, and we'll call it good.
Our heroes are captured and tortured for information, prodded and probed by the Andi Horde, who reveal the secrets of the Tumulti and secure their position as the ultimate species. Will they survive? Will the joining of 2 new heroes help them overthrow malicious Andi overlords? Will their heroics save the planet? Find out on the epic conclusion to Absolute.
Yeah.